How lucky are we? We just had church right now. That is so beautiful. That was Melanie Owen and our own praise team, and of course, the CSA house band. Thank you, Melanie. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry your church isn't meeting, but it is our great blessing here this morning. So let us prepare ourselves. If you'll just put your hand over your eyes, I open my eyes to see the spiritual truth today. And over your ears, I open my ears to hear the spiritual truth today. And then over your heart and extend out your arms. I open my heart to receive the spiritual truth today. The spiritual truth that I'm working with today is the same as our affirmation. We are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe, governed by spiritual laws, having a human experience. You know, do you want to be happy in your life? Do you want to have more fulfilling relationships with those people who are around you in your life? Do you want to have more self-confidence in your life? Wherever you go and whatever you're doing, more self-confidence. I'm here. I'm supposed to be here. People are glad I'm here. That kind of self-confidence. Do you want to have more money, enough money to have all of your needs and all of your wants met? If you do, figure out who you are. Get clear about who you are, and then stay there. You are a spiritual being, living in a spiritual universe, governed by spiritual laws, having a human experience. See, this notion that God works in mysterious ways is a lie. It's good poetry, but it's nowhere near the truth. There's no God that wakes up and on the wrong side of his cloud and says, I'm going to mess with Sam today, or I'm going to make Paco sad today, or I'm going to tell Tanya today that her husband has a credit card that he's maxed out once more. Thinking that God works in mysterious ways keeps us victims. It keeps us victims to so many situations in our life. God's ways, called spiritual principles, sometimes called spiritual laws, are learnable. They're repeatable. And they are no respecter of persons. God doesn't care who you are, where you came from, where you live, how much money you have, what kind of car you have. Everybody gets to learn, if they want to, spiritual laws that will govern our life. And it's in our best interest to learn them and align them with our human beliefs so that we can have a fabulous human experience. I recently revisited a book by Mike Dooley called Infinite Possibilities. And I pulled it off my shelf this week because I have been noticing that I'm becoming more limited in my thinking about how church is going to reopen. I have gotten so many blogs and so many articles about the new normal. And the truth is, nobody knows what the new normal is yet. None of us do, but I began to realize that I started limiting my thinking behind other people's limited thinking. So I got this book out, which is an invitation to direct our thoughts to those relationships and those things, those experiences that we want in our life, not the experiences that we don't want in our life. Now, most of you know who Mike Dooley is. He was he was a primary on The Secret, the movie The Secret that came out several years ago, and he kind of coined the phrase, thoughts become things. You know, here is the problem. It's much easier for us to say we're going to turn away from the things that we don't want and only focus on the things that we want than it is to do. And as we know, sometimes there's a person or a situation that comes along, maybe somebody comes along and says an unkind word to you, an unconscious word to you, and the rest of your day just goes to hell in a handbasket. Somebody wonders where you got that outfit with that kind of disapproving look. And you thought you looked good in the outfit a minute ago, but now you're going to spend the whole rest of the day worrying about how you look in that outfit. It's not as easy as we think, because every day we have evidence and more evidence and more evidence that makes us stay into our fear and our doubt and our insecurities. But there's something in this book that he wrote that I think can help. It certainly helped me. And that is this. your belief, that's what can help you, your beliefs. Dooley describes beliefs as this, and this really caught me. He describes beliefs as your opinions about your reality. Your beliefs are your opinions about your reality. You filter all of your thoughts through your beliefs. They're like the sunglasses of your mind. And if you're wearing dark sunglasses, the world will look dark. If you're wearing lightly tinted sunglasses, the world will look lighter. If you're wearing rose-colored sunglasses, the world will look rose-colored. Your beliefs become your mind's sunglasses. Your beliefs that people, if you have a belief that people are basically selfish, your thoughts will filter through that belief. All of your experiences and your thoughts about that belief will filter through that belief. So maybe somebody goes out of their way to do something kind to you, but your belief is, well, there must be something in it for them. Why are they doing it? What are they going to get out of this? Your thoughts will organize themselves to fit into your belief system. If you believe that the effects of COVID-19 are over-exaggerated, or that the effects of COVID-19, you don't really need to practice social distancing isn't really necessary, or if you have a thought or a belief that real men don't wear masks, those thoughts will organize themselves and you will find support for it. You will find evidence for it. And the same is true about your beliefs of races, of lifestyles, of ages, of sizes, of people who are poor, people who are rich. Whatever the sunglasses of called your beliefs you have on, you're going to look through them and your thoughts will organize themselves to match them. So how do you make your sunglasses see the truth? How do you change? You study and you learn spiritual laws, spiritual principles. You study and you learn how God works, and then you work them. There are some people who don't want to do either. They don't want to study God's spiritual laws, and they don't want to work spiritual laws. They just want to go around and saying God works in mysterious ways. They stop going to church, they stop worshiping and believing in God, or they continue to ask themselves, what has God got against me? Why is this happening to me? Or if you're in new thought, maybe sometimes I hear the thought, I hope the next time around is better than this time around, because maybe what I'm doing this time around is simply working off my old karma. Look, there is no God in the sky with a set of consequences on his or her iPhone. There is none. It's every day is a new day. Other people are willing to study the laws, but they don't want to work them. Or, more accurately, they want to pick and choose which laws to work. See, to be honest with you, I don't particularly care for God's law of oneness. I don't want to, God's law of oneness is this: you can't let anybody out of your heart. And because God's law is oneness, and God believes and never sets anybody out of their heart, his heart or her heart or its heart, you're always in God's heart. And I'm a representation of God. So therefore, I shouldn't be letting anybody out of my heart. Now, perhaps they need to stay out of my experience for a while, but never do they get put out of my heart. Their name has to be safe in my mouth. Still, even studying this, even believing that my happiness is directly corollary to my willingness to follow God's laws, to be in harmony with the spiritual principle of oneness, sometimes I just don't want to do it. People who aren't in my political party, I want to put them out of my heart. People who suffer from the disease of racism or homophobia or sexism or sizeism or any of the other isms that try and make people less than. I want to put them out of my heart. Their names aren't safe in my mouth. My beliefs about certain groups of people through which my thoughts will organize themselves. And remember, thoughts become things. We say we want to solve the bullying in schools. Well, here's one way we can solve the bullying of schools. Start role modeling cooperation in the world. These kids, they see two people in two different parties screaming at each other, yelling at each other, calling each other names. They see grown people devouring reality shows where other grown people are hurling mean-spirited remarks to each other. And then we wonder why young girls are committing suicide behind social media comments. We are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe, governed by spiritual laws, having a human experience. But we are all one in the spiritual law. But all that we are all one is a spiritual law. And when we ignore who we are, and we ignore that we are in harmony with spiritual laws, that's how we end up murdering young black kids who are simply jogging down a street. Putting people down is bullying. Hurtful sarcasm is not a social problem. It's not a problem of our time. It's a spiritual problem, and it has a spiritual answer. We can choose beliefs that we can organize our thoughts around to make our lives happier. You want to spend a moment? I want to spend a moment this time talking about emotions. Because while it's true, thoughts become things, emotions make those things happen faster. If I were to ask you what you really want in this world, and you were to tell me, I want a home in the country, I want a more fulfilling relationship with my beloved, I want a new car, I would know that you want those things because you think you would be happier if you had those things in your life. What is happiness? Well, Dooley in this book defines happiness this way. He says it's an emotion we spontaneously experience whenever we think the circumstances in our life are favorable. So let me say it again. Our emotions are a spontaneous experience whenever we think the circumstances in our life are favorable. Now catch this. Whenever we think the circumstances, the outside in our life is favorable, when thoughts become things. Happiness is an emotion, and it can only come from one place, and that's inside of us. Your perception of your happiness is formed through the sunglasses of your beliefs. And when, as Ernest Holmes taught us to believe, all life is given to us to enjoy, all that God has given to us is to enjoy. All that Allah has given us is to enjoy. All that Great Spirit has given us is to enjoy. When we believe that nothing ever has been, is now, or ever will be withheld from you, nothing, no matter where you've been, no matter what mistakes you've made, no matter what mistakes you might make in the future, nothing is ever withheld from you. That's the spiritual truth. Nothing is withheld from you. Now, the practice of that particular spiritual truth is to elevate your dreaming. You help your beliefs when you, in your good, when you are willing to receive them and you're willing to feel the good. Now, I started this sermon by reminding us that we are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe, governed by spiritual laws, having a human experience. At CSA, we never ask anyone to deny their human experience. We never ask anyone to cloister themselves off from the rest of the world to experience their spirituality. Our focus is to bring together in harmony, our spiritual nature and our human experience. That nature that's spiritual is the nature of love and success and unlimited possibility, unlimited potential. But to make entry into the land of human potential, you have to take off your limitation sunglasses. There's a story that I love about a college professor who gave his graduating seniors a final exam. And he told the seniors, you can choose from 3 categories. Category A will give you 50 points. If you choose category B, the highest you'll get will be 40 points. If you choose category C, the highest you'll get will be 30 points. The students chose their categories, they took their exam, they gave their papers back to the professor, and he didn't even read them, and they saw it. He said, okay, everybody in stack A gets an A, everybody in stack B gets a B, and everybody in stack C gets a C. And they were all howling. Why is that? He said, because I wasn't testing your knowledge. I was testing your aim. In COVID-19, we have to continue to aim high. And I know COVID-19 has slowed us down. I know that there are small businesses, people who started their small businesses 10, 12, 14, 16 months ago. They were just starting to ramp up, and now it looks like they're not going to make it. They're going to have to go out of business. And what I want to say to them is keep aiming. Don't give up. God has a way for you. It's not mysterious. We can help you find that way. Couples, I know couples who have lost money on vacations that they had paid for to happen in June, and now they're not getting their money back and they're not going on their vacation. Here's what I'm saying to you. Keep aiming for the perfect vacation. Don't give up. God has a plan for you. Make sure that when you're disappointed about anything, that you understand what sunglasses that you have on, what beliefs you have on, and don't allow those sunglasses to block you from the sunlight of the Spirit. We have a good life right now. Never mind what's coming. What's coming is going to be a great life too. We don't know what the new normal is going to be. We have to just stay in today and know that today I'm healthy. I have the opportunity to be happy today. Let's take this message into prayer. So if you just go within for a moment and know that the Great One is always here, always saying yes to whatever it is that we want. Even if what we want today turns out to be what we don't want tomorrow, Great Spirit is saying yes. I give thanks for all the possibilities for this church and for the lives of every person watching today. I give thanks for that. I give thanks for all of the people who came here this morning to help us put this service together for all of us, because we're all benefiting from it. I give thanks for Justin and Rosie for doing the audio visual, and Steve Wright for doing the audio visual as well, for our praise team, for Ayana and Patrice and David. I give thanks to our fabulous CSA house band. And mostly, I give thanks to you for taking the time to watch, for taking the time to host watch parties. I give thanks for that. That's allowing God to work through us. I release this word into law, and together we say, and so it is.